AI can't do strategy because strategy is not options, it's actually decision as well, with trade-offs, with commitment, with something. And another one, that was another kind of insight from ideal customer discovery. I can give you the best advice ever, but if it doesn't align to you, most of the people do not just, blindly or straightforward believe the data, like numbers. They still kind of have these cognitive biases and stuff like that. So AI can give you the best recommendation strategy ever, but if it doesn't align with you, with your beliefs and understanding, it won't be good.
Thanks everyone for joining. I have Guntis, not Coders, it's Choders here with me from Latvia, and he'll probably give you a bit of a background with what's the name confusion there, which was really interesting to me when I was preparing for this call. So Guntis, welcome, man. Thanks for joining, and I'm looking forward to hearing more about you and your company and what you guys do over there.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and I'm super excited to be here. Let's see how it turns out, right? Looking forward.
Yeah, cool. So regarding your name, the intro that I received from my colleague when she approached you was interesting. So I'm guessing there was some anecdote you can share with us about the name, because when I saw the name I thought, okay, so this is it's a play of words, but it wasn't essentially, right? It's Choders, it's pronounced with C, right?
Yeah, it's with a small thing on the top. And first time I went abroad, it was a very long time ago. I heard my surname. I didn't kind of respond because coder. But yeah, now online, always when you register or something, sign up. You can't use those specific characters, so it's always coders. And then it's Mr. Coders. There was a nickname, and it's a very good opening for networking and conferences. When I'm saying coders, but I'm not coder because I'm not coding, but I'm vibe coding now. So it's so it's
Cool.
another part of the joke. Now I add this middle name, and it will be appropriate. Yeah.
Yeah, it will definitely be. Yeah, we have the same team, same thing on our letters as well. We have with one and with like a small V. One is ch and the other one is ch.
Mm.
Subtle difference, but I think we have the same.
Yeah. Basically, it's choders, but yeah, coders basically. Yeah.
Got it. Cool. Yeah. So tell me, so the company that you represented, you started pronounced Theo. Can you tell me? I always like to start these with the problem that specific organization, person, or company is solving. So if we are going on a market with a product that we are proud of and that we built, there should have been already a pre-existing problem that we were trying to solve. So tell me about the problem you were trying to solve with Theo.
Yeah, it's basically to be able to understand and explain market and category, my specific category in specific region, what it consists of, what are the players, stakeholders, what are the competitors, and not just any kind of, but really understand which are more or less threats, explaining the category, what it consists of, what kind of works, what territories are owned. But basically, it's competitive brand positioning research. It's mostly mainly about positioning. It's not, and it includes a lot of stuff, not just keywords or something. So that's something that's necessary. And now we focused on brand strategists mostly because that's the main thing they do, almost the only thing they do before anything starts. Either it's a brand strategy development, either campaign, either ads. They always start with the strategy and market research, and it takes quite a lot of time, even using AI tools, because it's all over the place and it's not consistent. It hallucinates, so it still takes quite like 3 to 5 days on average, and we can do in hours, at least the foundation. So they are investigators. They love to research, right? That's why I have this love research, not searching, but basically we do provide the foundation. Everything's together at one place, nicely organized, structured, and they can have insights right away. Either talk to it and do the investigation further, but basically they can save a lot of time and go much more deeper than they would be able otherwise.
Got it. So, I mean, as someone who would potentially benefit from market research, what would you say that your edge your competitive edge versus other companies that do same or similar work is actually?
Yeah, I mean, as far as I see, mostly those are either AI wrappers, which say this will be market research or something, and it's usually about like cheap price, less than 50 or something, and it's instant in minutes or something. It doesn't work that way. Either it's generative tools or agents. I'm kind of do the deep research or something. As I said, there are a lot of challenges there, keeping consistent in that scale, and then there are the other extreme corporate enterprise type of super market intelligence overkills, which are good for other type of tasks. But if you need quickly, specifically for today, for this specific customer in that specific market, and it's more of a qualitative rather than quantitative. It includes some quantitative metrics as well and analysis, but you don't have anything in between, which is high quality enough. Either those are like wrappers, regular wrappers, either there's like really enterprise type overpriced tools, and in our pricing range, this like 250, 500. There's nothing there actually, and we do it like really verifies with sources, references, and structure. Like no one does it as detailed, let's say, and as high quality.
Got it. So at some point you mentioned that some of these competitors of yours are doing it quickly, and it's not possible to do it quickly. I mean, at least not to maintain quality and efficiency and everything. But if I'm not mistaken, some of them are already keeping like huge inventory of businesses and all of this data so they can do it quickly. They don't do the research on the fly to make it quickly, right?
Yeah, and that's the qualitative. But as we analyze the actual posts, actual ads, actual hero sections from now, today, how exactly they communicate, what they highlight, it should be done on the go. It's like even in a month, it's outdated. It's not like industry. That's fine. Where how big they are, what's the revenue this year? But those are like operation qualitative, quantitative metrics. But we are as from positioning, it matters how and what and through which channels and so on. So they actually communicate, and it's and why you can't do that through agents or something and these web searches, because it doesn't quote, it just kind of looks at the surface and it's kind of summarizes or interprets different the rephrases. But here the wording, and the phrase is like exactly as they are. It's very critical. You have to scrape in real time. Otherwise you will have to be Google and scrape the whole internet
Mm.
every day. Then
Well, some of them still do that because it's not hard to do, but then you have this the gap that you have to bridge because you can't analyze, you can't actually scrape entire internet daily or even weekly, right? Even if you could, then you would have a week of the gap. And what you're saying is this gap is important. You want to know what's the actual latest data out there that you can rely on.
yeah, exactly what they said today. For more traditional industries, categories, it might not change as fast. But if it's IT or startups or something, I mean, it's on a weekly basis, right? What the positioning changes, the new features come out or something. So we want to see what exactly they highlight today.
True. And while researching Theo, I saw that on some conference, sorry, Tech Chill. I'm not sure. I didn't really stumble upon this one before, so I might be wrong. Was it Tech Chill? Yeah.
Chill. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's one of the top three in Baltics yearly. Yeah.
Okay, got it. And so I saw that you at some point you managed to secure two investments for Theo over there, right? So
Yeah.
if I was your competitor, if I was researching you based on the data that some other agency accumulated like from a month ago, I wouldn't be able to see this. So, and I think this is what you're saying. So your
And
competitive edge is
actually,
exactly that.
and it was okay, it was a while ago, but a year. But the other thing is it's a we have pivoted and repositioned ourselves. So I spent quite a lot of effort to kind of clean the internet from what who we are. So if you would just ask or just do the web search, it's still one thinks we do something slightly something else, you know.
I see. Well, and that's another reason why what you're saying actually makes sense, because relying on accumulated data from month ago, even at the very week when you're getting your investments, I wouldn't be able to see that, and I wouldn't,
Hmm.
right? I mean, if I'm your competitor, I wouldn't know that unless I use an agency or a tool like yours to give me up-to-date data, which is actually perfect. So the origin story essentially is you were doing this for yourself and then figured out you can productize it.
Oh, it was the main reason. Yeah, when I quit Accenture and university at that point, that was because I just knew I want to learn it. So I wanted to go all in. If I can't do it on daily basis, I both quit both jobs. And the first thing we did actually was automating ideal customer discovery framework workflow, which I developed myself during the years when I was consulting other companies. We did it in Google Sheets. So we automated that one first. It actually worked very well. We learned a lot, especially of those business context things, how exactly it understands those business concepts and terms and stuff like that, and how those are related to each other. Then we moved to business context engineering, meaning how to capture and format and duplicate and clean the data about the business and feed it into AI so it's super clear. That's what the context engineering, when we started it, it wasn't even a thing. So it became a thing last June when big guys mentioned like context engineering. And we understood actually we've been doing that for the like subcategory business context engineering for a while. So that was another thing, but it was too broad and hard to measure how much better it becomes. And we were targeting small and medium businesses. And then in last year, September, we put those two together, the ideal customer discovery and the context engineering, how exactly you should process and align with AI and explain to AI the business and market. And we apply those two know-hows and frameworks to, yeah, this competitive brand positioning. And in combination with, we did it already before high quality, but the most of the like majority of the users they were not like they couldn't feel the difference or they couldn't recognize the difference because like ChatGPT is good enough, you know, because you don't know what you don't know. When I prompted that, I noticed right away what wasn't considered when the AI answered me. So I knew it's something is wrong there, but most of the people didn't feel it. And now the brand strategists, they are the ones who know it's not good enough for them to have good enough results. They need to credible, accurate, relevant, and something they can base their recommendations and strategy on. So we found someone who cares about the quality. Let's say, yeah.
Makes sense. And it's actually interesting that I saw on your FAQ on the website, you even have this like, how is THEO different from ChatGPT for positioning research? How did it would never occur to me to compare like your product with ChatGPT. How did that happen?
Because people, again, I'm living in a bubble, probably, right? Obviously, but people tend to think, and you can do a lot nowadays. You have
Yeah,
Claude.
but you have to, but you have to be your own. You have to build your own product in a sense. You need to
In a way,
understand.
yeah, but I mean, still, everyone has some sort of a workflows, and there's this Dunning-Kruger effect, where right when, at the beginning you feel like a natural and you believe you can do anything, and then the more you understand that you don't understand that it's challenging. So there might be some point of like, it seems like I could do something similar, or with Manus, or with deep research, or build three agents myself. But then when you go, the deeper you go, the devil is in the details. Then it's yeah. Uh, okay, now I haven't had too much of a feedback from brand strategists like I can do it myself, but they still mention that they do research, obviously, Perplexity and
Yeah,
ChatGPT. So I have to be ready to explain, how much in detail we go 160 and everyone one by one compared to you and by layers and something. It's not just big chunk of chat thread. So those kind of details, technical, still we have to be able to explain very, very simple, but that's the nuance. Yeah.
I see. So when you talk to your customers after the whole intro that we now had about difference what you do and what ChatGPT does and what the actual like mechanical differences. So what do your users tell that what is the real value that they are receiving from THEO?
That they don't have to spend those 1 2 days on actually kind of searching for the information, and even though they do the search, you can't start on, especially if it's a new market or a new brand, new customer, client. You don't know the category, right? So you have to learn it, and then you have to understand who are competitors, what kind of competitors they are, and how they're different between each other. How is your client different from them? So, and all that takes time, and not just companies, but where the industry is heading, what the cultural, I don't know, sentiment is, right? What people are struggling about or talking about. So it takes quite a lot of time. Either they do themselves, either the junior strategist does that, but it's still, it takes even the same junior strategist. It's still kind of just bunch of materials, and then they sit down and then they kind of start investigating. Okay, what do I have? So we do the same in like 10 times faster and 10 times more higher quality with already high quality interpretations, observations, and some recommendations. And everything's in one place. Everything's, you can click through. We fetch, even now we added the ads, like posts from social media, and now the ads, so you can see the whole picture, like in, I don't know, in a half an hour or an hour. You can understand the category like super well. It's like perfect foundation to start from, thinking about it, not just do 2 days searching to start to grasp the,
Yeah.
what's happening there.
Yeah, it's perfect. It obviously relies a lot of its functionalities on AI. So how do you make sure that it's 100% reliable in terms of like data accuracy?
Mm, it's that's been something we've been as I said, learned like during the 3 years, how exactly you should prepare the information, align on understanding on the information and the perspective of it, what's like, if there are many stakeholders who says what, and so on, so on, who are involved, which is what is the company, blah blah blah. So stakeholder perspectives, business concepts, and you can't rely on web search. As I said, it finds indexed articles, sources. It finds it doesn't scrape again, technical thing, but it just like kind of looks at it, takes a look at it. It doesn't go through letter by letter, character by character, sentence by sentence, and then figure out what it is, and then kind of doesn't include in the whole thing in the context. So we do that with like 1,000 different steps, not just AI, but algorithmic processing as well. So it's kind of validating every time. It does provide some answer. There's a confidence level, there's a source, trust, credibility level, perspectives, and so on, so on. And then additional technical validations. If something's wrong, something doesn't is suspicious, we give it back and do it once more. So until it's like high confidence. So instead of trying to do everything, we focus on the things we can actually observe and conclude. We don't try to figure out, build your business plan, how it might look like, but we focus only on a high confidence conclusions and observations.
But how does that QA level or layer, rather, how does that work on a large scale? Like, for example, you have, I don't know, 100 customers right now running different queries. So what's the promise you're giving them for the accuracy of the data? How do you ensure like the 100% accuracy on it?
It's probably 98% accuracy, but and that's why we include the back trackability, basically all of the references, so they still can check. And that's something they say us told us. I don't want the black box. I want something, and I want to be able to kind of investigate myself and challenge it and check it out. So it's probably 100. It's not 100, but it's like really really close to it. As I said, because we do multiple level of verifications and validations, both AI and algorithmical. So So the only chance when during development something is missed technically, it's just skipped, one field or something. But when it's there, it really works like a magic. And we can do that many times, and we see the results that like super close. Oh, okay. There will always be some naming in the phrases generated the difference, but the main goal or the claim or the observation is still the same conceptually.
Got it. And are there chances of, not chances, rather, it's, do you have a use cases where it's necessary to switch from one model to another, or you're constantly using like OpenAI, for example, or whatever?
No, we don't use OpenAI. That's the only one we can't use because it doesn't do anything we need. We've been working on those complex things with mega prompts and many instructions for since the beginning, and the only one for a very long time was Sonnet.
Hmm.
Claude 3.5, I believe, was the first one, which actually did what we had to do, and we had a very awesome opportunity to before the 3.5 to figure out how to get what we need, to split it in even more gradually, smaller steps, what has to be done to achieve that. But now starting the 3.5, it's actually much better. The next one now is Gemini,
Hmm.
which does starting with 2.5. It kind of, yeah, that was the second, very, very close. But we split between again Opus, Sonnet, Haiku, and then Gemini Pro and Flash. It's kind of mix of those and fallbacks, always back and forth. And I told someone recently just as well. I noticed that I always build new stuff and validate with the Claude, and then to industrialize it, to scale it, then we move to figure out what has to happen. So Google Gemini does the same thing. Uh, yeah, but
Got it.
no, OpenAI, I don't. That's why I don't trust all those benchmarks. When I test it on my use, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't do the job. Either it's the output formatting, either it's the context-wise something, or I see right away what instruction it didn't consider and it didn't follow. So it just doesn't work for us, unfortunately.
And I
Yeah.
think we're pretty much close to what I have to ask you next. And it's like, what was the hardest part in building Theo?
Uh, which concept? But this is the third one, let's say. But yeah, each phase, each concept has its own challenges. But now, again, as usually with AIs, you can get to 85, 90% very, very fast, and then you spend at the same time amount or even more to kind of get it stable, consistent, credible, always doing exactly the same thing and even better, right? So the iterations, like so many, it's just unbelievable. So that's why as well, people say you can kind of backward engineer nowadays quite a lot of stuff, but knowing how each of those small details, even the rephrasing, the one sentence changes everything, Uh, yeah, it's not quite possible. And I see we do it somehow slightly different than majority, and my kind of observation is because of how I see the models suggest doing things, and it's learned from others. Let's say I see it's always suggesting slightly different, and I
Hmm.
have to kind of no, we do this way. It's like okay. Um, yeah. So, but the hardest was probably just iterating so many times. And the previous concept was about what should we do to explain simply that it's actually that's a problem, right? But you just don't know it.
Yeah.
And as long as people, when they try it out, it was like awesome, but it was very hard to kind of explain why should they do it and then kind of to measure, and it very quickly became commodity. So we kind of
Hmm.
okay. For the first 3 days, I was super excited, but now I feel it's like a norm. Now it answers me very well, and thank you, Theo. So, and then if you need so much education, it's probably not the best, path to go.
Yeah, do you
In this
remember?
case, it's like quite obvious pain, and we can get something they already know they need. and we can deliver it, very fast, high quality. Yeah.
Do you remember that show, Silicon Valley?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, they had like a same type of conversation at some point when they built the AI aware platform in the end, and they were like, so they built so complex tool, which is so far ahead of the time that I had to like explain what it does and how it's supposed to be used. Like it's like they said something like they build. Uh, oh, what was the phrase? Something like. Uh, they compared the bus with the plane, but it was more of context like super expensive. Yeah.
Boss.
Yeah, they compared it with the plane without wings, and then it just became a super expensive shitty bus.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, but that was, as usually, all those learnings are kind of brought us to where we are now, and now
yeah,
what we would be able to do achieve what we do now if we wouldn't have been working for like 2 years on the context thing itself, so that was super useful. Yeah.
cool. Well, that was obviously the core. So, speaking of, when you entered this endeavor, you had some idea like what the problem is that you're solving and what you want to do and what the product itself is supposed to be. So, did your understanding and views on market and space in the industry that you are helping with this product, did it change? What did you learn something new? Did you, um, let's say that you're now out of the previous whatever number of iterations, and now you have aha moment.
Yeah. No, we still have ahas, right? But as I said, the main aha was that small and medium businesses they don't have money, and then they don't know what they want and how they want everything for free. So, and everything automated as well. And I was like against that. I don't see it like completely autonomous universal. It's still co-pilot for like strategic. Even I recently had a post about it. AI can't do strategy because strategy is not options, it's actually decision as well,
Hmm.
with trade-offs, with commitment, with something. And another one, that was another kind of insight from ideal customer discovery period. I can give you the best advice ever, but if it doesn't align to you, most of the people do not just, blindly or straightforward believe the data, like numbers. They still kind of have these cognitive biases and stuff like that. So,
Hmm.
so AI can give you the best recommendation strategy ever, but if it doesn't align with you, with your like beliefs and understanding, it won't be good. So that's why I believe it for a while. It's still for most of the cases SMBs, they want those 24/7 agents which do the posts and do the marketing. Bigger companies don't do that, and there's a good reason for that, so that's why we kind of understood a few of those things and put together that, yeah, it's basically co-pilot, and I believe that's the way to go. And another one was a good insight. I believe it for a very long time. That's why we didn't build our built-in co-pilot, because we kind of had very good context for a while, but we didn't do that for a few reasons. One, another thing to maintain, people have a benchmark of kind of what should it look like, and so on, so on. And I knew that big vendors will want to be the interface, very long time ago, before even MCP, when the Anthropic first time launched MCP first version. And then I understood, yes, that's the thing, that's another proof that it's going to be that they will be the interface, and then everything else is just no UI, you just have to connect.
Yeah.
So that's why we kept it for a very long time. Everyone said you should do it, you should do it, it would be awesome. I said, yeah, but we don't want to compete. What's the point? And now we have this MCP connection as well, and it's like perfect. In that case, from that perspective, it's a perfect kind of match strategy or coincidence. That again, we built this cool report, And strategists say, yeah, but I'm used to look at it slightly different. And I say, yeah, you can ask it, you build your way. The data is there. You just ask, give me this slide because I used to that
Mm.
kind of a slide
Yeah.
and it's doable. So that's kind of very good what happened in the market and in infrastructure level and how we kind of approach that, put a bet on that, that played out very well. Yeah.
Yeah, knowing that people like to have everything in one place, what's the integration status with the different platforms and tools and like places I can ingest the report that I'm getting from Theo in my own workspace?
Yeah, now it's MCP. We haven't officially approved version like an app, but it's working. For the customers who are asking, we give the access, and it's Claude and ChatGPT. Those two are the main. Now I'm speaking, we are in a partnership with Google as well. It's not publicly somehow, but it's Gemini. You can have that type of an integration as well. That will be the next one. But yeah, ChatGPT is because it's the mainstream,
Hmm.
and Claude, this is because it's just the second, and it's my most favorite.
Yeah,
But those
same.
two are working very well. Yeah. And
Uh,
then we might add at one point some custom API or MCP server for
that's what I
any
wanted
other
to ask you
agents
actually
because
about. Yeah.
yeah, that's another thing I know. Now we build a UI just for the strategist kind of to be able to give us a feedback, and we can iterate on what should be shown or gathered or observed. But in the long term, yeah, I mean, we build for agents, so whatever his agent gonna ask, and that's again another good thing we are good at figuring out what kind of a context in which format we should give to you because the research is quite huge. But if there's a specific question, we won't allow AI to figure out what to ask. We will be the smart context
Mm.
engineers.
Okay.
If this is the thing he wants to figure out, what which pieces of the research we should give it, and in which horizontal or vertical layers. So that's something we already have like by default architected, and I see that will be something cool. You can't rely on just RAG or semantic search or
Yeah.
even knowledge graphs. It's just not consistent enough if you don't train it specifically. So we have our own kind of context pre-authorization, let's say, injection algorithm for that
Makes
one.
sense.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing you also mentioned a few different, completely different ICPs. You mentioned small companies, SMBs, even. I'm guessing
No,
you
no, that was
also.
for the previous concept. Now it's
Mhm.
only brand strategists
Okay.
as early ICP. We still have an interest for brands themselves, but I see just the brand strategist is more specific, and they give us, I would say, better feedback on what should brand, positioning research brief look like, and what perspectives, methodologies, and so on to apply. And they are ready to uh, dig deep, let's say, and sit and think and utilize. Marketers, they want result. Give me copy, give me logo, give me something. So that's they are like a secondary ICP. But for now, yeah, early ICP brand strategists either in agencies, either in freelancers.
I see. I see. So, would you say that because I see a lot of room for you to enter into enterprise space. Do you already work with enterprise prospects, maybe to position yourself as a brand strategist yourself?
Um, just when someone's approaching us, we're not outreaching
Okay.
for now at all. As I said, I don't want to lose the focus, and I don't want to compete with brand strategists as well. But other than that, we have some pilots, let's say, where they're trying to figure out. But that again, and that's a proof. If we go enterprise, there will be always customizations, integrations, and 6 to 12 months, projects and agreements. So it's a slow one. But there's some pilots, in process. Brand strategists, they need them that thing often, frequently, new projects, new campaigns, new markets. So that and our pricing model is pay per research, so that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Otherwise, for brands, it might be once, a quarter or something. But yeah.
I noticed that you, or am I wrong? I don't think you have like a one example research free just for users to see how it's would
No,
look
we
at?
have
Do
now we
you?
are building the
Mm.
Theo Growth / intelligence. Those are publicly shared. There are some old ones, but just
Hmm.
today I posted on LinkedIn the latest one, which has this social network intelligence
Nice.
included as well. So the reports are up, but we are building public database, and that was kind of our strategy as well. We focused on United Kingdom for now, as we still Europe is main focus, and United Kingdom because of few reasons, but and we understood that we would like to cover as many categories as possible in one market. So actually the database again, okay, in a month it might be outdated as we discussed, but someone might benefit from just using whatever we already have. Just
For
talk
sure.
about it,
For
and I
sure.
can I
Absolutely.
can order my custom research. So that's a different.
Yeah. Not to speak about like industries that are not that fast in changing a lot of things. So you will get free research, old, but
I
you will
mean, there's
know
some stuff which is kind of not so, it doesn't change,
exactly.
facts, but the latest activities, merger acquisitions or product launches, those probably, and campaigns, those will be,
Yeah.
they change basically. And that's why now we have this paper project, then this MCP connection. You can ask few up to 100 questions when you buy the project. But then if it's a subscription, if you want to talk more about different projects, different markets, and so on. And then the next one, it's quite challenging, but the monitoring. So we not just as many competitive intelligence tools, they just get those signals. We will do signals, but from positioning perspective, territories and interpretation, very detailed, what exactly changed and how it changed and what it means and so on, so on. Not just, look at the signals and reach out, but really the ongoing monitoring, that's a huge one. Not just for kind of value for the you don't have to ask it, but it would help us to build a moat as well, as we will have a snapshot of the market, and it's impossible to do the historical snapshots of the world, right?
Yeah.
It's not so easy. So yeah, that will be like a data moat as well.
Got it. So, look, just something I was looking the other day for myself. Would it be possible, and how deep would you go into telling me what my competitors do on social media in terms of content that they're pushing lately? Like, for example, in the past quarter. Would I
Mhm.
be able to understand that? Because that can tell me like what's the direction they're taking in terms of content or communicating itself.
Yeah. For now, as I said, we implemented just the first. We now fetch something like 10, 20 lost from 6 different platforms: LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. And we do for now more of a, again, concept theme type of analysis. What type of a posts do you have? What do you talk about? Thought leadership, educational, da 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 da. And then and we don't go vertically very very deep. There's some other platforms which do that, but we use that together with the website and the whole category, and that's the hardest one. When you look at all of those, we do 16 in deep analysis. We
Mm.
can discover up to 150 or something, but we go top 16 in detail, and then when we look each separately, but when you look at the landscape, it's kind of to be able to explain what's happening, and it's not just one, but you have to consider all of them together. Then you can explain the landscape. But we don't go a quarter, like basically too detailed in each of those, like historically for now. But that's something strategists ask, and we might go deeper into that one, obviously, to see how the concepts, how the topics, positioning, things you highlight changed during the. So we can help you to figure out where it's going, better. But for now, it's actually quite well, even though we look a month or something for the last month, what you did on different platforms. Yeah.
Got it. So you guys are probably remote company, I'm guessing.
Sorry, remote?
You're yeah, I mean your employees or you're solo here or
No, we are three guys. We sit here in Latvia in Ventspils together in a co-working place we created ourselves.
nice.
But yeah, we all three are in one room. Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. Did you like intentionally set it up that way or remote does not work for you?
In this case, it was organically the co-founders just were here. Actually, one of the co-founders was the student of the first year of graduates for the
Hmm,
business, the bachelor program I created. So I've been mentoring for 4 years in university. Then actually he was in Accenture as well. So basically, I know the guy for 6, 7 years, and we just could talk like half sentence and understand. And now he knows he's product owner, operations,
nice.
implementations. I do the methodology, the main architecture, like from methodology perspective, and then he's the one implementing with the developer and talking to the clients and afterwards. So I'm reaching out, closing, and doing the strategy, marketing, sales, and the planning, and then they implement. But and the other one, actually, the third one, we created. We wanted to have an office, and in Ventspils we didn't have quite cool co-working, so we thought let's build a co-working, not just have an office for ourselves. And there will be more people around us, and we will have an option to extend if we need, and we did so. It's not like profit oriented, but it's like it was strategically that move. And the programmer developer, he was working on another company remotely to Germany and just listening what we do, and he was like, "Oh, that sounds cool," so he joined
That's
us.
awesome,
So
man.
it's like
That's really
a
cool.
win. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when we started, it was like apartments, a bunch of like pizza boxes, guys cramped up, and it's
No, it was. I mean, now it's just 1 year, maybe 1.5. For the first 1.5, we were working from home mostly. Yeah.
mm, cool. So tell me, you mentioned this strategy bachelor's program. That was part of the Accenture or something else?
No, it was. I was approached after my first startup fail. I was leading a business incubator for 1 year. What can failed startup founder do? Teach others how to not to do things, or but during that period, I built this ideal customer discovery framework, and I was looking around. I'm not from Ventspils, but I care what's happening ecosystem. So I wanted to do something, and my idea of solving that ecosystem in Ventspils startup ecosystem was I wanted to build. I was approached by university. Hey, let's build something new. We've found the concept in Finland. What do you think? So I looked at it and I noticed there's a huge potential. I put on top of it a lot of startups, technology, emotional intelligence, and processes. And we built startup management program, basically bachelors, because that was my idea of how to attract cool people to this city, and
Mm,
for 4 years they are here and we can do a lot of stuff with them. And that kind of was another interesting move which worked out very well. And but that was at that specific moment Accenture headhunted me, so I was doing both things for 4 years. That was
mm.
as intense as in startup. So
Yeah.
yeah.
How did it with this strategy bachelor's program? So you invented the entire program, or you had someone like helping you structure it,
No,
or
there was as I said, they found a concept in Finland. It's like team academy.
hmm.
It's very well known. It's mostly about project based learning and coaching.
Mhm.
So we took that concept. We went on learning the coaching, the methodology and philosophy there, and then I put on top of it everything I thought of would be missing. And of course I had a help from university to kind of make it academic and look like an actual program, because it's like really out of any frames. It's like really different. It's the unique out there. People they don't sit and learn in the classes. They do projects and startups, and they're being coached and so on. But yeah, I mean, I built it, the syllabus and how it's gonna be, how we're gonna evaluate, how we're gonna check in, how we're gonna self-retrospect and all that stuff. Yeah, I put everything that was missing from what I got from my bachelor and learned the hard way in startups. So I can put everything so it's like part of not syllabus, but even daily operations. You
Yeah.
have to do check-ins, you have to plan, you have to do that. Kind of, it's still something you're gonna do later. So instead of making a course about it, I just make it mandatory part of the education as such.
Interesting.
Everyone knows ClickUp, everyone knows CRMs, everyone you just know because we had it already. So
Yeah.
now you have to prompt, you have to build assistants. It's just must have, and that's it. So yeah.
Yeah. It's cool, man. Tell me, I'm guessing here, you definitely have some books to recommend to us. Something that changed your life views, even like professionally, your direction in life.
Yes. Again, there's a specific book at specific time, right?
Yeah.
You can read it twice and see completely different things.
Yeah.
But I really liked education. What was it? Rethinking Education or something. It was by the co-author was from Apple. It was quite a lot of about how Apple did something, but it was
Was it
very,
design
very good.
thinking, maybe?
No, not design, rethinking education, I believe. I'm gonna send over. I don't remember the
Cool.
title, but it's like it was rethinking education and marshmallow test. That's for when we went on an ideal customer discovery. It was I went deep into the rabbit hole of cognitive biases and
Mm.
decision making, and then all of those books about psychology and stuff like that. So marshmallow test is has some very, very awesome insights, how people think and how you can explain yourself and be like aware of why did I do that, and how can I be aware of those cognitive biases. That's probably quite important. and
Yeah.
and and, and
A
from
call to
that one I
introspect.
explained, is it like nature or nurture? What do you believe? Is it more nature or nurture? Like how what is your DNA or what happened to you?
Yeah, it's both.
I would say 80% is nurture, what happened to you.
It is.
DNA is not too much. You can be completely different people
Yeah.
with the same DNA. What in which environment you grew up? So I explain how people make decisions, how the brain. So whenever I speak about I believe you can upload. I wouldn't say consciousness, but personality.
Yeah.
Like obviously, I
Yeah.
mean it's just million of small pluses, these impulses, right? With
Yeah.
adding on top of all of your traumas during the life. So that
Yeah,
makes your
I
decision.
agree. Yeah, I agree for sure. Well, I mean, there is definitely a base that you are born with. It's undisputable. So you have a base for sure. And in a lot of ways, however you develop yourself throughout your later years, it will depend on what your base was. You can change, but you can't really change much in your core. You can forcefully, but it's still not going to be you. Like 80/20, I agree with you 100%, but these 20 are building up these other 80, I think. Um,
It's more about parents first 10 years or something. That's something it's like super hard to change
yeah,
and be aware of those and break them. And you are really unaware of them. I would say that's the hardest thing. You think that's a norm and you start challenging, oh, that's not the normal, that's not the
yeah,
norm. But that's not DNA. It's still how you've been raised.
okay, yeah.
DNA, I don't know. That's not like, oh, you're the same as your father because
No, I
he was
wouldn't.
raising me, not because of DNA.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say DNA. I wouldn't call it DNA. But like when you do like personality, like the big five are pretty good framework to tell you more about yourself. It's not accurate science. It is pretty accurate. It gives you a pretty good idea, right? But then if you repeat the test on every like 5 years or so, you would see differences. You'll see a lot of differences, but it's still going to be, like around this median line. And just yesterday, I was talking to a friend actually who said was a big introvert like 10, 15 or so years ago. And throughout his entrepreneurial career, he had the opportunity to build up on some new, obviously, new traits and to sharpen up some that were dull and just to work on himself. And he says, like, when we talked about whether he's still introvert but has tools not to show that, he was like, no, man, I don't think so. It's like whenever I do these tests, it shows up that I'm extroverted now. And I'm actually recharging while talking to people. So some things can definitely change. You know, we
Yeah,
think that we.
and
Mhm.
that's why I said it's what happens to you and what you do with you. It's there, and even introvert, you didn't born like that probably,
Yeah.
or even if you did, it really depends. If I would be talking to you or bringing to you some to theater school or something, it's either natural, but you might be so deep into your kind of unconsciousness that you don't know even who you are,
Mm.
because the whole life someone taught you or someone was leading you or raised you, and then people, yeah, later they start kind of exploring themselves and like, I don't want to do that, or I want to work on that one. I don't know which is the real you.
Yeah.
It's still so it's hard. But my 20, I would say 2080, but it doesn't shape. There's some small things, but you can really change. No, I mean, work during their life, you might completely even exclude them.
May I just add two things here? So I forgot where was this research done, but it's like I think babies are showing personality within first 2 years or so. So within 2 years, you can't say that you went through nurture. You're still being, you know, yet to be nurtured. So babies are showing personalities in the age of 2 or even less. Don't hold me to it. I might be wrong. And
Yeah,
yesterday I was watching this show, random, doesn't matter. And now the father and son are talking. The father is on dying bed essentially, and he's saying his son told him like I'm gonna miss you, and his father says you're not gonna miss me. You're going to miss someone who you think I was. The sad part is I don't think you actually knew the real me. And that's the thing, all these faces that we are wearing throughout life, we are presenting ourselves to world around us, but without introspect, we are not holding, the wheel of our own actions and the life in general.
one is the face, another one is just my way of interpretation of what I see. It's my hero or something, you just see it that way. So, and that's why the world is so crazy, so interesting, that everyone lives in their own kind of super subjective, world. How
Yeah,
do you see and how you do understand and how you got to that kind of conclusion. So, and that's what makes it interesting.
yeah. Cool, man. So what's the future for Theo? 10 years from now, what's happening?
Oh, in AI, yeah, what happens? No one knows what happens. But I believe that everything we do, uh, even the learning, I do a lot of education and workshops as well. I like it because I believe you don't have to wait for some magical tool. You have to learn. And the more you learn, the longer you will prolong your usefulness, because it might replace you, but in a way, the things you do, not you, but you will be the spectator for quite a while. But to be able to be the spectator, you have to understand. First of all, very many people don't haven't thought about exactly what they do, how they think. That's one. You have to kind of retrospect a lot, and you have to understand those AI guys. So to be able to kind of guide them and give a feedback and so on, so on. So the learning I teach others, and I'm super now happy to be able to learn during the what we do. So because no one knows what will happen in a week, in a month, there's new technology changing everything. So that's one another thing. Nothing is defensible. The only thing defensible you can do is you do something so boring no one else wants to do.
Makes
but
sense.
otherwise, anything from the big guys, if it's big enough, if it's interesting enough, they can backward engineer, put a few billions on top of it. you
Sure,
can teach it.
sure. But I mean, you have
so
to have some
so
sort of
I don't
North
know,
Star.
but what will happen, but I know that we are working towards that. I like that this positioning thing, this ideal customer, it helps you to do to be much more efficient, doing things that you should be doing or focusing on. First of all, focus. Another one, there are a lot of biases, and I believe we can help a broader audience, not just those strategists and large companies, but kind of explain who you are, in what's the market you're playing, right? And what are your strengths and capabilities, and what are the at least some chance of winning. No one knows if it depends on how you execute and a million other stuff, but kind of increase the chance of success and actually working on, not wasting energy and money and marketing and all. Like, don't spam around, even spam. We could help to decrease amount of spam if everyone would be using Theo, right? But yeah, I mean, that's something I'm like super excited that we are complementing or helping. How far we're gonna get depends. Everything depends on how fast we're gonna be. Either we outgrow, either someone buys us. Both ways are fine.
Both work, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah, both are fine.
One thing you mentioned I really like, and I think our philosophies when it comes to AI are kind of aligned here. And I think this is the message that needs to go out. Companies, obviously companies, not people, but companies, leadership within those companies need to start thinking the way they use AI for it to be an efficiency tool and not replacement tool. I think, make sure, like, figure out how to make your one employee 10 times efficient, but not replace your 10 people with one agent.
Yeah, that was the like how become 10 times more effective. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And now instead of efficiency. And another one that I see, but it's like you, you you have to. I told my guys as well, my friends who are entrepreneurs. I said, he says, "Why I'm helping them some automations, right? Just for fun." And they're like, "Why it's not? Why do you believe it's not many AI projects are not successful?" And there are a few reasons, but one would be if you can't align with the team that everyone wants it, like any change management, right? You have to get on board them like, we need this because you and you and you gonna benefit this and this way, otherwise they'll find any reason for it to fail. Another one, you have to teach them to use it, because any AI tool you just can't buy, or a consultant comes in and builds. If you can't maintain it, it's going to be outdated in a month, 3, 6, whatever. You have to kind of keep nurturing it. Models change, world change, data change, whatever. And to kind of help them to learn. I like that. I see that, and with the previous concept, we helped that with quite a lot. If you give it very good context, but all tools are developed now further. If you figure out a way for every person in the room in an hour or something, figure out how exactly it helps them, that kind of makes this rolling. Oh, this is benefiting me. I'm going to use it more. The more that I use, the more I figure out what else can I do. And so kind of that's, you had to keep it rolling in the loop, but you have to get this instant individual benefit. If it's not there, it's not going to work, and I said, so you have to either change your team, either you have to teach them, because in the long term, everyone needs to be able to maintain those agents, and,
Yeah.
there won't be universal that's going to figure out itself, or you need a few people, like agent AI people. It's not like a CTO, but AI person in your company who knows what to do, how to maintain, how to support. Otherwise, you won't buy it. It's not a training. It's not a solution. It's just you have to invest a lot of in education, and I just tell them learn, but figure out why they would be willing to learn. How they can instantly notice the benefit, and that's the long-term investment. That's the best investment you as a company you would have now. Just like really figure out how you make them learn and apply it. Yeah.
Cool. You mentioned that I mean, several times actually, and I like to hear when people are invested in education. So when it comes to like mentoring programs or something similar to that, are people able to reach you? And if so, what's the best way to do it?
Oh, no, I wouldn't like to highlight. Reach me out for mentoring. That's a side thing. Just
Well, it doesn't
sometimes if
matter.
people no,
It's
no.
valuable. It it delivers value. So I think it should definitely be mentioned.
Yes, but it's that's not. Uh, I don't want to sound rude, but it's not. I have to focus on my startup. So
Okay.
now I'm doing just for a hobby and just for someone introduced. I want to help.
Okay.
Otherwise, if people are asking already, people are asking quite a lot help. I wouldn't like it to be highlighted somehow. Yeah, please reach out and I'm gonna help
That's
you
fair.
because it's just I have to focus on the startup itself. Otherwise, just I try to post on my LinkedIn quite it's about the positioning, but very often, especially in the older these posts about how to use AI, how to context wise, and this tool and that tool. So follow me on LinkedIn.
D- you actually made a perfect ending for this interview. I wanted to like ask you to call people where they can find out more about you and your company. Cool. So we have theogrowth.com and Guntis Coders people. It's not coders.
Mhm.
LinkedIn. Yeah, I didn't ask. Sorry. What's the startup ecosystem right now in Latvia comparing to others
Oh,
in region?
it's much better than it was like when I first started 2013 or something. Then it was like just few people.
Yeah.
Now it's like the second generation, third of founders reinvesting, they're launching, and we have our own unicorns and much more investment funding opportunities. So it's really much like really better. But of course, Estonian they had this first
Yeah.
unicorn earlier, so they had the first round of second founders 8 years earlier probably, so they're ahead of. But we have our own unique things happening like AI, like drones, like crypto, or this yeah some stuff I see. This is like, oh, this becomes a Latvian thing, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
We are very
movement
good at that
already.
one.
There's obviously a
Yeah.
movement already. Cool. Cool. Well, thanks so much for your time, man. Much appreciated. I really enjoyed this conversation. Um, as we mentioned, so theogrow.com and Guntis Coders on Choders on
So
LinkedIn. Feel
there's
free to reach out should you need
yeah.
anything market research related, and I'll just do a little cheat here. So obviously, Guntis here really good and really big on education. So if you need any mentoring whatsoever, feel free to reach out.